folks, I'm Matt, and welcome to the Good Trouble Show. In September of 2023, the media went wild when two mummified bodies were rolled out at Mexico's Congress by controversial UFO figure Jaime Maussan. Jaime claimed that the mummies were of non-human origin and were recovered in a cave near Nazca, Peru, where the world-famous Peru-Nazca lions are obviously located. Critics immediately claimed the whole thing was a hoax, explaining that the mummies were made of nothing but animal bones to make these strange little creatures. Another scientist claimed that the mummies were actually a delectable treat. Yeah, now I'm pretty hungry. I must admit, though, I did think the whole thing was a giant hoax, which is why I never covered it on the show. But it turns out that I was likely wrong. And today we have Dr. Richard O'Connor, medical doctor, MD, to discuss the peer-reviewed paper that concludes that these mummies are actually not made of cake, but they're rather real corpses of what appears to be extraterrestrial beings. So, yeah, pretty crazy, yeah. But first, please hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons on YouTube. Leave a comment and let us know what you think about this episode. You can also find us on X or Baylor College of Medicine graduate and a board-certified anesthesiologist who in 2011 founded the Jesse A. Marcel Library, focusing on the UFO phenomenon. Please welcome Dr. O'Connor. Dr. O'Connor, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Very happy to be here, Matthew. Thanks for inviting me to talk.
No, you're very welcome. So just to tell everyone at home, you're out in the middle of the wilderness there, and the internet is a little bit wonky, so we may have a little bit of delays. We're going to play your PowerPoint that I saw on the Jesse Marcel Library website, and some of the audio on some of the clips that we'll play off of that may kind of cut in and out. But in the YouTube description, we have a link to that, and we would encourage everyone to watch this entire presentation. It is really something else. So, Dr. O'Connor, obviously, thank you very much for joining us, taking time out of your Sunday. So tell us a bit about yourself and your professional background.
Well, I got, I finished Baylor College of Medicine and did my residency in anesthesia in the University of Miami, and did a fellowship in cardiac and pediatric anesthesia at UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento. And sort of before I started anesthesia, I worked in general practice in the Central Valley of the San Joaquin Valley in California, working with primarily with migrant farm workers there who are vital to our nation and our economy. And so while I was doing that, I picked up some Spanish, which has been helpful to me in life, and was one of the reasons that I probably latched on to what's going on with the Nazca mummies earlier than some people did. But anyway, after finishing my fellowship at UC Davis, I came to Helena, Montana, and joined the medical staff of St. Peter's Hospital here in Helena. And one of the people that I worked with, one of the surgeons that I met early on, was Dr. Jesse Marcel Jr., who was an ear, nose, and throat surgeon here in Helena. And he was in his active private practice when I started doing anesthesia. So, of course, he and I met and worked together quite a bit in the operating room here at our hospital. And probably a year into knowing him, I somehow heard about his involvement with Roswell. And so, I approached him about it and asked him what that was all about. And he told me the same thing that he's told you and everybody else that's heard his story. But, just working with him for about 10 years, I worked with Dr. Marcel, and I knew him before he passed away. I knew him for over 25 years. And, I knew him well. And having known him well, I can reassure everybody here that's listening that Dr. Marcel's story of being involved in the Roswell UFO crash event and handling that material and closely inspecting it, holding it in his hands, he and his father and his mother. That all happened for sure. I just guarantee you that it happened because I knew the man well enough to know that he would never, ever have made up any of that story. He just wasn't that kind of a person. He was an amazing physician and an American soldier, a patriot, a helicopter pilot for the Montana National Guard. At age 68, he went to Iraq and served there as a flight surgeon and a helicopter pilot. And he was actually even in the Navy early in his life, and was blackening his face on board a ship during the Cuban Missile Crisis, ready to invade Cuba.
Wow.
So, this man, they don't realize all the things that he did in his life and just what an excellent person he was. So I've known since I met him in 1988 that we're not alone on this planet. And as you can see here, in our first slide,